hold up, I am on my way, I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing. Yeah, isn't that amazing?
Welcome to Crafty Beach. This is Julie. Today I put together 15 of my best beach DIYs for you using supplies from the Dollar Tree. Now for the first one, I wanted to put together like a fun summer wreath, so I picked up a shore living sign. This one says beach vibes only, but any of their round beach signs would do, or you can always make your own wood round as well. Now, the fun part of this is we're going to be making a grass skirt wreath. So I picked up a wire wreath form from the Dollar Tree, and I picked up an adult size grass skirt. Now, this is 27 inches long, the adult size. And so what I did is I divided that by 3, and we're going to cut it down into thirds. So I have plenty of raffia to make this. So I need about 9 inches. So what I do is I just kind of measure that, try to bundle it together the best that I can, and then we can try cutting this. It's pretty easy to cut. You might have to kind of cut like a portion at a time. And now I have a large bundle. It's really thick. It's the entire grass skirt. It's way too thick for a pom-pom at this point, but I'm going to split it up a little bit. But I do want to trim it up a little bit so it's not so wild. I think about half would make a great size pom-pom. So I just kind of set half of it to the side and keep this gathered together in the middle. I'm simply going to take a zip tie, and using the crossbar here, I'm using the crossbars for these. On the wire wreath form, I zip tie it to the crossbar like that, making it kind of look like kind of a pom-pom made out of grass skirts. Now, I've seen people make these before to make like raffia fall wreaths, but I wanted to see if I could make a summer version. I like the idea of the grass skirts. I think that's really cute. And so I just cut off my extra zip tie, and then with the remaining bundle, I'm going to go over here. I'm on the middle crossbar there, and I'm going to zip tie it to that one. And you can kind of arrange, which way you want it to kind of tilt. But as you can see, it covers a lot of the wreath form, just the way that it kind of like shoots out to the side like that. So I have enough here to make more bundles. I have it kind of all gathered together, kind of still kind of folded up to keep it easier to work with. And I measure about half. That's what I would need. And then I cut that right in half. So I have enough to make 2 more bundles for the little raffia pom-poms. So again, I just estimate about about half would be. And then using this crossbar section, we're just going to zip tie it to it. Kind of make it more horizontal to the wreath form. Cut off the zip tie and kind of have it slightly overlapping the one next to it. And you can see what a good job that does covering the wreath form. This was one of the easiest wreaths I've ever made. This was such an easy technique, and it was really fun. So here is my other bundle. I'm going to zip tie it to this crossbar right here and kind of fluff it out as well. I have 2 more of the crossbars, and that's plenty for the remaining 2 bundles. So all I needed was 1 of the adult size grass skirt. It was plenty for the entire wreath form. This one's a little trickier. So what I did was cut it in half, the twine, so that I could simply go and cut the twine from the top of it. I thought that'd probably be the easiest way to do it. And we're just going to zip tie this one in place and arrange. And you can see just how easy this is. This would be cute if you wanted to do this. Kind of mess it all up, make it look like raffia for fall. But you know me, I love coastal beach DIYs, so that's what we're going for on this wreath DIY. This is my last bundle. We're just going to zip tie that in place. I love using zip ties for wreaths. So it's such an easy way to put together a wreath. Now that I have them all attached, I can fluff them out and see if that's going to get good coverage with a Dollar Tree wood round on the front. And that Beach Vibes only one looks really good. I'm just going to do a little bit of arranging just to make sure that you can, not see any of the metal. I don't want any of the metal wreath form showing. And then I just really need to attach this sign here to the front. So what I did was use the existing hanger, and I'm actually going to use that twine just to help secure it on here. I tie that off to the metal wreath form that is underneath the grass skirts right there to try to hang it on there. I did notice it did need a little bit of hot glue though, so I'm going to hot glue it in place on some of the other pom-poms to make sure that it stays flat against it. It doesn't really gap out when I hang it on my door, and most importantly, it stays in place. Now, this is just a shore living sign, but I thought I could decorate it a little bit to make it look a little bit better. Maybe with some of the Dollar Tree starfish and sand dollars from the shore living line. I'm simply going to take this little sand dollar and attach it right about here. Super cute. And then I love the little starfish from the shore living line as well. I buy both of these by the case every year because I use these year-round for crafting. They're absolutely adorable. I'm going to do another starfish right here on the other side. And this is just the easiest beach wreath DIY I think I've ever done. It's really cute and festive. If you wanted to do like a luau spin on this, that would be really cute too if you were going to have like a summer or a luau party, since it is made out of grass skirts. But this is kind of coastal. You could leave this hanging up all year long. And I think it was really whimsical and fun. Here is a close-up view of how this turned out. And it's a little wild, the raffia, but I kind of like it. What do you guys think about this one? Beach vibes only. Hey guys, are you enjoying today's video? If you are, be sure to hit that like button. It always helps my videos here on YouTube. Okay, for the next DIY, we're going to get really creative. I picked up one of these wall shelves from the Dollar Tree. These are great for DIY projects, and they're just plain wood boards, but they're nice and thick. There's no bowing or anything like that, and they're ready to paint or stain for whatever kind of project you want to make. I just need one of these today because I want to make like a long, skinny sign. And for it, I want a very abstract, like ocean or intercoastal scene. So I'm going to use a couple colors of blue that are really close together. This one is Caribbean blue, and the other one is cloudless. As you can see, I just did like the Caribbean blue for the water. I'm doing cloudless for the sky. And then I just kind of blend in between. I want it to be just a foggy day where you can't really tell the difference between the ocean and the sky. Just something really abstract. It looks like the ocean, but it's not going to take away from all the cute stuff we're going to do on the front of this sign. Now I just need to make a simple hanger because I want this to be a hanging sign. This is the Walmart twine. It's a little bit thicker than the twine from the Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to feed that from the back of the sign, knotting it into the front to make a simple hanger for this. And we're also going to be using a lot of twine to try to recreate like a dock scene on here with some of that driftwood that I found at the beach. Now, if you don't have a source for driftwood, you can always use sticks or whatever you can find locally in your area. And it would be a really similar result. Now for the bottom here, there's also holes in the bottom. So what I'm going to do is feed it in the other direction, knotting it on the back like that, and that gives me some twine to start with our project. Now, this is the driftwood that I found. I tried to choose pieces that were about the same diameter, and what I wanted to do is I want it to look like a dock with like nautical pilings that we can have like little shorebirds sitting on. So I'm going to take some of that driftwood and I'm just going to cut it down into some little poles like this with flat tops. And, you know, flat bottoms if I can get it, just by using my saw to cut different pieces until I'm happy with it. And I kind of like that some of them are irregular shape. That kind of adds to the appeal. I take my twine and I wrap it around it a couple of times to represent like the rope and the poles at the dock. And then what I'm going to do is just secure this in place by hot gluing the twine to the back of the driftwood so that stays in place. And then I'm also going to secure it to the sign itself by gluing the twine down. I want it to look like it's kind of like three-dimensional with the perspective of the dock like heading out. And so I take my next piece and then wrap twine around it a couple of times as well to make sure that it's really good and secure. Gluing that in place. I glue the twine. I also glue it to the sign. And then back here, I mean, I'm not going to go really far out. I mean, if you had like a longer sign, you could take it out even further. But I'm going to have it start kind of like wrapping back around to the front so we can finish with that final hole we have in the shelf sign. So I take advantage of all the holes in the signs for the hanger and for the dock itself. This I just represented with like a straight line going straight across with the twine before I wrapped it and glued it. And then here is my fourth and final piece. I think 4 is plenty for this size sign. And again, I just glue the twine to the wood and then glue the twine actually to the sign too, because I want to make sure everything stays in place. This is going to be hanging on the wall. And then I just kind of cut the twine that I have left there long enough that I can feed it through. If you find that you're having trouble getting it through, if you put a little hot glue on the end, it's going to help feed that through. And then I just simply knot it on the back. So we have the setup for the dock scene. I think it looks really cute so far. And I'm going to add a little bit of extra hot glue behind some of the pieces of driftwood just to kind of reinforce things, but I don't want to have any glue there where you can see it. Now for the shorebirds, what I'm going to use is some of the Dollar Tree sea glass. This comes in all different shades mixed together. There's like 2 different colors of blue. There's like a white and there's a green. I want like the clear or the white ones to represent my shorebirds. And I am selectively trying to pick out some pieces that I think will make good birds. Sometimes, well, usually they have like a flat side that makes it a little bit easier to attach it. But I'm also trying to look for shapes that kind of remind me in an abstract way of a shorebird. They're very irregular shaped already, so that definitely helps. And I want them all to be about the same scale. So I selected 4 pieces of the white clear sea glass. I think those will be great shorebirds. Now let me show you how I'm going to go about making them shorebirds. First, I want to kind of arrange them. What's going to be like the head and like beak area of the bird and what's going to be the tail. And I thought that if I painted the back of them, that flat side that I was telling you about white, it's going to make them look a little bit brighter and pop against that blue a little bit better, just to kind of reflect off the back because they are kind of clearish. And then it's just a matter of arranging these. I want them to have legs, so what I'm going to do is kind of draw them on with a fine-tipped Sharpie marker. Super easy to draw bird legs, like they're just like little kind of like stick figures for the legs. And you kind of have to decide where you want your bird to stand, and then you'll know exactly where you need to put your little legs. And we're just going to draw them on there. Super easy. And we're also going to add just a few more features to the sea glass to make them look like birds as well. And this was such a fun project. I know a lot of people sell like sea glass art like this, and I can see why. I think it's so cute. I also used that fine tip Sharpie to draw a little dot on each one of them for an eye, about where I think an eye would be, where I think their head would be. And then also on the sign itself, I'm just going to use an orange Sharpie to draw on a little orange beak that's going to kind of peek out from behind the sea glass. So really the only thing I can attach to the sea glass itself is the eye. The rest of it, I'm just doing it on the background sign. And then it's just a matter of hot gluing each one down right where they should go to make them look like little birds. Isn't that so cute? I think this is such a fun idea. Everything was from the Dollar Tree except for the driftwood, which was free from the beach. And it was so easy to put together and very whimsical. Isn't that cute? You could do so many different things with the sea glass. I've used it a lot in DIYs, but I haven't used it to make like sea glass art like this before. And this is one of my favorite beach DIYs. I think it is just so whimsical and fun. And they really do kind of look like birds. Especially that one there on the left. I think that's my favorite one. Very fun, very coastal, and I hope you enjoyed this DIY. Hey guys, have you joined my private Facebook group yet? I have it linked in the description below. I also have a Facebook, an Instagram, a TikTok, and a Pinterest page. My handle on everything is Crafty Beach on YouTube, and I would love to see you over there. Okay, for the next DIY, I'm going to show you how to use one of the Dollar Tree canvases to make a really fun custom wreath. So I found this adorable sea turtle canvas at Dollar Tree, and I picked that up along with one of their tall vases like that. And I thought we could cover the vase with the canvas itself to make a really pretty custom like sea turtle vase. I love using these Dollar Tree canvases for anything. They have these like in the shore living line, but this was just from like the regular home decor aisle. Whenever I see a box of these at my Dollar Tree, I always check because they have a lot of like seahorses, sea turtles, ocean scenes from time to time that go great for coastal decor. I just want the canvas, the front off of it. And so I just used a razor blade to cut that off, trying to avoid like all the staples and everything on the back. I just really want the image of the sea turtle. So once I get that off, I'm just going to go ahead and use the seam for the front. It's going to give me a straight line to be able to cut that down to size. And look how it's almost the perfect size for one of these Dollar Tree vases to cover the front of it. I think that looks really cool. And I want to use some of the shore living greenery, some of the ones that are a little bit more of the brownish color, and I think that's going to look good with that. Now, since it doesn't go all the way around it, I'm going to use some of the burlap from the little synthetic burlap bags. They have these like in the crafter square. They're great for crafting because they have like a coating on the back. Makes them really easy to cut and no fraying. So I'm just using this as reference to cut out another piece of out of one side of the bag, just using it for fabric itself. So I have like another shape that's the same as that, just to kind of get it the same size so I can wrap like the burlap around the back. I can wrap the canvas around the front. So really easy to do. Even though it does have that like slight plastic coating on the inside, you can still hot glue it and stuff like that. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the burlap first. That's going to look coastal with the burlap, but it also blends in well with this nice tan canvas. And there is our cute little sea turtle to be on the front of the vase where you can see it. I think that's going to look really cute. And I did notice that you could see the overlap from having it be a little bit too long. So what I did was just trim the burlap down a little bit to shorten it so I don't have that overlap. I don't want like a ridge in the sea turtle, if that makes sense. And now I can go ahead and attach this. I'm going to glue it on top of the burlap bag. It's a little bit easier to glue to the fabric than it is to the glass itself. And then I'm going to do the same thing here on the other side, applying some hot glue to the canvas and overlapping slightly on the burlap bag. I think that looks pretty good. My lines are pretty straight. The canvas doesn't really fray, so I think that looks pretty clean, and the image on there could not be cuter. Now this is the greenery I want to use. I'm going to use some of the shore living greenery, but I'm also using just some of their eucalyptus. They seem to have this in all different shades. This is more of like kind of a fall color, so this would look great for coastal summer, coastal fall. Um, Kind of some of the brown colors is what I was trying to bring in with these. And so I have a couple of the eucalyptus. I'm going to go ahead and arrange those in there first. And then I have some of the shore living greenery. I love this so much. I buy it every year. This year I bought it online by the case because it's so cute. The brown ones, though, I struggle using a little bit more than the ones that are greenish. If you know, they have two different color schemes. But I'm going to do the seahorse one right here in front. That's my favorite one with the little seahorse on there. It's so cute and coastal. The other ones I have there are the ones with the seashells attached to them, which is pretty cute as well. Now, if you can't find these, you could always take some seashells and picks and try to recreate that yourself with some more kind of generic greenery from Dollar Tree. But I love these, so I always want to try to use them whenever I can. I decided I probably need some foam in there so I can arrange it a little bit better. So I just used a piece of floral foam from Dollar Tree that will fit down inside the vase, and that way it's going to let me kind of have everything right exactly where I want it. And then these are, of course, the little shell picks, floral picks, and I'm going to do like one on each side. I think they look nice mixed together with the eucalyptus. I think they go together nicely. And the colors really kind of go together too. And I think that the seashells and the seahorse is going to be really fun and coastal to go with that sea turtle that is on the front of the vase. Now you could do that with any of the beach or coastal scenes. Doesn't have to be a sea turtle, but I think this one, it turned out really cute. What do you guys think about this one? I thought that I could add like a little bit of a trim to it just to even make it look more finished. And so this is the burlap trim from Dollar Tree. It's going to go with the burlap that's on the back. It's going to look super coastal. And I just thought it needed one more thing. So I'm just going to attach that to the top of the canvas with hot glue. I love this stuff. It comes in like a variety of pack of like 3 different kinds of trims. And so I always try to purchase this whenever I can find it because you don't really want to mix and match your styles too much. You might need more than one package if you have a larger project. I think one of these is going to be enough to go around the top and the bottom. And I think it's just going to be a perfect final touch to this DIY. And you can just take a cheap $1.25 vase like that. We've made it look really high end. It looks really coastal with the sea turtle on there. And then combined together with that shore living greenery, hopefully you were able to snag some this year. You could do a fun beach vase like this. I think this looks great with all of that greenery in there. I love the little seahorse. Isn't that so cute? And then how cute is the sea turtle vase? I like kind of turning mine where you can see his face like this. I'm partial to sea turtles. I love them. I think they are adorable. And this is how this DIY turned out. Now for the next DIY, I thought we could make a custom beach hot plate for my kitchen. I picked up this glass one at the Dollar Tree, and it's a little bit different than any of the ones I've crafted with before from Dollar Tree. They usually have like a rough texture on one side of them. This one is just pure glass, which is going to make it even easier to DIY. They do have these little plastic feet on the bottom, so I'm going to remove those. They kind of are stuck on with like a little bit of goo, so it will leave a little bit of residue when you go to clean that up, but I always like to save those to reuse them once I get the projects finished. I've done a lot of these hot plates in the past where I've done like sublimation and stuff like that. Today I wanted to see if we could do a little bit of an easier method by just using a printable that I designed for you guys. So I have to get all that residue off the glass and make sure that it is good and clean before we decorate it. I also want to try to get like that Goo Gone residue off as well, but that looks pretty good. I also like to use like the adhesive cork from Dollar Tree for these. It's going to help keep things hot that you set on the hot plate, give it a little bit of an insulation factor. And it's exactly the right width for one of these hot plates. I've actually used my Cricut to cut this circle out before, and since it's exactly the right size, it doesn't work too well. So what I'm gonna do is just kind of sketch that out on the back, the adhesive back of the cork, so I can go ahead and just cut it down to size. And I found it was easier to do it this way with just a pair of scissors. If you draw it on there, it's a little bit easier to cut a perfect circle. Circles can be hard for sure. But just the right width, perfect size. And this is like a peel and stick. And so I can use that to attach it to the glass. Now, this is the printable that I designed. It is a sea turtle like swimming out in the ocean. I think it's so cute. And I just printed this out just like on a regular printer on regular paper. And I am going to just try to cut out that perfect circle again. I've made it custom to the size of the Dollar Tree hot plate. And just cut the picture down. Now what I want to do is kind of sandwich that image in between the adhesive cork and the glass, so it's underneath of it, so it'll be all sealed. And then to attach it, I thought I would just Mod Podge it on. Now I am using a foam brush. I thought that that would help me kind of eliminate streaks in this, but I do end up with some streaks in the final project, so I'm not sure exactly how I could have avoided that. I don't know, because I've used Mod Podge on glass before and I haven't had that kind of a streaking. Maybe because the glass on this one was so crystal clear, it just kind of shows up or it's obvious. But I don't know if you guys have any tricks or you've used Mod Podge successfully on glass before, you'll have to let me know in the comments below the video. So once I got it on there and dried, I am also going over the top of the paper to further seal it on there with a little bit more Mod Podge. Just thin coats. I'm trying to avoid having any wrinkling or anything like that with the paper. But I want it to be sealed as much as I possibly can. And I give that a quick dry with my heat gun, and now it's time to peel and stick that adhesive cork back to the back of it. And I just try to line that up the best that I can. If you find that your circle is not quite perfect, it's super easy to kind of go around the edges, trim it up, or sand off any overlapping cork material. That's going to make it look a little bit less professional. And as you can see, the cork just cuts really easily. It's a nice soft material. And the sea turtle looks so cute on the front of that. I do have some streaking. It kind of looks like sunbeams coming down a little bit. But I really enjoy it, and I still use this in my kitchen. To reattach the little feet to the cork, I'm just doing a little dot of hot glue, all four corners, and just reattaching the feet. So you can definitely DIY your own hot plate like this from the Dollar Tree, even if you're not set up for sublimation or anything like that, just by using your printer and an image. And this is how mine turned out. That sea turtle is really pretty. I think it looks really good. I was hoping that the streaks would go out of it a little bit, but as you can see, they kind of do look like sun rays coming down, so I kind of got away with it. I don't know. I don't know if I should have put the Mod Podge on with a different tool or something like that. Perhaps, maybe a roller. But I think it turned out really cute nonetheless. Now for the next coastal DIYs, I wanted to try some of the burlap canvases from the Dollar Tree. I think these are so coastal and cute. And they come in standard sizes like 8x10 or 5x7, so you can use frames for these as well. For this one, I just picked up a plain white frame, 8x10. It is a tight fit, so you have to be a little bit careful if you're using one of their frames. I found that the new wood ones that look like wood are a little bit sturdier. The first thing I'm going to do is remove the staples carefully. I don't want to bust any of the frames, so I kind of straighten them out before I pull them straight out with just a pair of pliers. That's going to get in the way of this attaching to the canvas itself. Now for the canvas, I want to attach some HTV to it, but I also want it to have like a way to have like a middle board to press against. What I'm going to use is just the bamboo cutting boards. They're from the Dollar Tree to fit in the 8x10 size perfectly. And then I designed this image of a white silhouette of coral. I thought this would look really pretty against the burlap. And, you know, vinyl doesn't really stick to burlap, so I wanted to see if HTV would do a good job. So I just designed this and cut it out on my Cricut. And I will share the link to this SVG file for you if you want to recreate just a really beautiful, like, branching coral design. And then I want to press that on to the burlap. So I'm just going to go ahead and put my mat down, have both the cutting boards in there. I think that's going to be just the right size to give me something to press against because the burlap is framed and I'm going to leave it on the frame itself. So I just line up the HTV. It's sticky side down. It still doesn't want to stick super well. But I think we're going to be able to make that work. And I'm going to cover it with just some Dollar Tree parchment paper to protect my press. And I go in at 305 degrees for 30 seconds. I looked up on the Cricut heat guide, and that is how long it said to do HTV on burlap material. Now, I do have to wait for this to cool off before I peel it off. And it comes with the cover sheet already on there when you're using HTV. And so I'm going to carefully lift that off, trying to make sure all of my HTV is good and secure. It actually did a pretty good job. I think the bamboo cutting boards inside helped to give the right amount of pressure for me to seal it on there. I did want to make sure that it's good and secure and it's not going to be peeling off though. So I thought I could heat it up for a little bit more. I just put the cutting boards back in, parchment paper, and I just pressed it for a few more seconds until I was confident that the HTV was going to stay on the burlap. And I think that looks really coastal and fun. I love like the white against the burlap. Very pretty. And now we just need to frame our canvas. This is the white canvas or the white frame that I'm going to use for that. One thing I want to do is attach a little hot glue on the inside of the frame here to secure the burlap frame in place. And then lay that right on there, kind of forcing it into the frame. It fits, but it's a very tight squeeze. Once I got it in there, I decided to kind of reinforce my corners with my staple gun to make sure those corners would stay connected since it was such a tight fit. And because it felt like it was kind of coming apart a little bit. And then to kind of mask that gap that it created in the frame, I just actually used a little spackle. Since the spackle's white, the frame's white, it's going to kind of make that blend in and make the project a little bit easier, but otherwise it feels like it's really secure with that on there, but that just helped to make the frame look a little bit better. And a fun way that you can frame those Dollar Tree burlap canvases. I think it looks really good with the HTV on there. It's another fun way to use them. You could like hang it on the wall just like that. With no backing on there, or you could always reattach the back if you wanted yours to have like a standing sign by gluing the back of the picture frame back onto it. I'm going to have mine be hanging, so I left it as is, and this is how the first one turned out. This is like the branching coral. Very simple and subtle, very coastal. And, I just used a couple of items from the Dollar Tree to put this together and a little bit of the white HTV. I like that so much, I wanted to do a matching set. So I have another 8x10 white frame, the same one, and an 8x10 burlap canvas. And we're going to recreate this. So again, all you have to do is remove the staples. Be careful, you don't want to bust those frames. And this time I decided to kind of reinforce the corners before I put the canvas in there. You have to be careful if you're using a staple gun like I am. You don't want to go all the way through your frame, but that helped to secure it. It actually worked pretty well on this one. Just because I know it's a little bit shy on the size that it could be to fit that in there comfortably. And then this is another SVG design that I designed and I will share with you. And this one's going to look like a silhouette of seaweed. I thought that would look really good next to the coral. And it's just like very branching and a little bit skinnier than the other one, but I thought they would complement each other nicely. And I just cut this out on the white HTV as well. So it's already got the carrier sheet on it. I can then just start putting all this together. I'm using those same bamboo cutting boards for my spacer, laying the canvas on top, then the HTV, trying to center that on there exactly how I want it. I like it, the fact that it's a little bit asymmetrical. And parchment paper and then my heat press. So again, it was 305 degrees for 30 seconds. Sometimes with HTV, I feel like I need to add a little bit more heat. And I think a lot of it has to do with pressure as well. I do have a heat press now, which usually makes things a little bit easier. But I didn't think that was very connected once I let it cool. So I applied some more heat to it, let it cool down again to see if the HTV is attached this time. And this way it looks way better. Again, I am going to reinforce it though after removing the cover sheet to make sure I didn't lift anything up. Just a few more seconds of heat to it. And now we can frame this burlap canvas as well. Again, I put a little bit of hot glue on the inner edges of the frame to secure the burlap to it. And kind of push that in place. I wish that the white frames were a little bit larger. Some of the other Dollar Tree frames seem to fit a little bit better. But again, I had a little bit of gapping here in the corners from it trying to separate. The staples did hold it in place though. And I'm just patching that up again with some of the white spackle just to make it look a little bit better. But I love how these turned out. I think that they go together really nicely as a set. They would go with really any kind of color scheme, any kind of room that you are trying to decorate coastal. And this is how this one turned out. A little bit different vibe than the first one. I think they complement each other nicely, and I'll show you how both of them look together as well. But just a fun idea of something you can do with those burlap canvases from the Dollar Tree. I love them, and I really do try to stock up on these whenever I can find them at Crafter Square. And this is what they look like together as a set. Now, the next beach DIY is really easy. I'm going to use one of these on beach time shore living houses from the Dollar Tree, and we're just going to upgrade it a little bit. I don't know if they've brought these back this year, but they've been pretty common at my stores, and I wanted to go ahead and include this in case you still had one of these left over for a quick little DIY on it. The first step is just to remove the foam sticker. You can replace it with something better, and then I'm just going to distress it. It's already a beautiful color. I love that it has like a wood roof on it. Just distressing it a little bit and just making it look a little bit more coastal. I'm also going to like distress the rest of the roof at the top there, and also distress the paper that's on here. Just because it's paper doesn't mean you can't like do a dry brushing technique on it. And I'm just kind of following that up with a paper towel, just kind of blending that in a little bit, making it look a little bit more high end. And I love these little Dollar Tree signs, and I love these little chipboard pieces. I'm going to replace the little foam starfish that was on there with just one of these chipboard seashells. It's so cute. I do distress it with some of that ivory color that I used to distress the house to make it look kind of aged and coastal. And I think that looks really good. It goes nicely with the roof on there. And you could always DIY one of the plain wood houses if you wanted to get this look. You could paint it blue, maybe use your Cricut for some lettering, or you could just write it on there with some paint pens. On beach time is just a quick little beach house, Dollar Tree DIY. Since I went ahead and distressed like the roof, I went ahead and distressed the sides as well, just to kind of make it look more uniform. But this would be really cute just sitting on your shelves with your beach decor, or even on a tier tray. I've used these on tier trays. If you have like a larger tier tray, it would fit really nicely. But this is how mine looks just in my cabinet. I love the saying on beach time. I'm always on beach time. And it was just a quick, easy DIY. And I hope that they do bring those signs back because I really did like them. Okay, for the next DIY, we're going to use one of the little wooden chip wheels from the Dollar Tree and one of the Dollar Tree wood rounds. The nautical items like that, I can still kind of find them in my crafter square, kind of mixed in with everything else, depending on the store I go to. But I have a really fun DIY for these to make it look really cute. I want to layer it together, making it a thicker sign, but with a lot more details as well. For the back of the sign, I want like a light blue, and I'm just going to use some ivory mixed with like some Caribbean blue. It's going to give me this very light beachy blue color, very similar to like the color Cloudless by Apple Barrel. And I'm just going over the wood round. That is going to be the background for the sign. So I want it to have just a fun coastal color back there. And you do have to kind of make sure that when you get these wood rounds at Dollar Tree that they're not warped. But if you layer them together, you can kind of solve that problem. Now, to distress it, I just distressed it with a little bit of ivory, working in one direction, kind of blending that in with a baby wipe to make it look super beachy. Then I'm going to go in with some Dollar Tree brown rope. This is the thinner rope, but it doesn't really matter. You can use whatever you have. I'm actually going to frame out that thin wood round, which is going to give it the appearance of being a thicker, chunkier sign. And it looks really coastal and fun too. So I just kind of work like 1/4 at a time, applying hot glue to the sign itself and just gluing the rope in. A simple rope frame, you can't get any easier than that. Now, when your ends come together, if you kind of hot glue those together, you can kind of make them blend in a little bit more. And then I always like to touch up Dollar Tree like brown rope projects with a lighter to burn off the fuzzies on there. Now for the ship wheel, we're going to make this look really cool. I want it to look more like a distressed like driftwood color. So the first coat I do is just an ivory mixed together with Antique Wax by Waverly. And I do that for my base coat on here. And I'm going to cover some parts of this with other details, but I'm going to go ahead and paint the entire thing to get us started. Then I go in there with just some Antique Wax by Waverly and just start distressing in one direction. So you still have that like wood grain going in there, but just to bring out a lot more details. I love the look of a good dry brushing. I think it makes everything look really coastal, very rustic. I did want it to be a little bit deeper color because I do have like the brown wood. So I distressed it heavier than I normally would. But again, all in one direction, leaving that like lighter wood color underneath as a base and blending it with a paper towel so it's not too heavy. Now for the little handles on the ship wheel, we're just going to wrap those with twine. This is that thicker twine from Walmart, but it doesn't really matter. You can use whatever twine that you have. This is just going to be easier because you're going to have to wrap it less. I just start at the base of each one. I attach it with a little bit of hot glue, wrapping it around, cutting it off, and attaching it with hot glue there at the end. That's gonna really give a lot of texture and thickness to that part of the ship wheel, and it looks so cute. So I just wrap them around one at a time. It does have a little bit of fuzziness to it, kind of like the rope, so I just go over it with a lighter, cleaning off the fuzziness on each one of those. Now it's time to put this together. I'm going to go ahead and reattach the hanger here for the wood round. And then I want to attach the ship wheel to it. I want it to be centered in the middle, and I want it to be a little bit 3D. So I'm going to use some of these Dollar Tree rings, one of them right in the center here. It will bump out the ship wheel a little bit, and you won't be able to see it because it will hide right behind it. I do need to make sure that it is centered on the wood round. So I just draw a little line for reference so that when I have the hot glue on it, I know exactly where to put it. And now I can use that to attach the ship wheel to it. I just add a little bit of hot glue to it, attaching the ship wheel. Now between each one of the handles, I want to do a seashell. These are just seashells that I have from Dollar Tree or the beach. I just picked out different ones that are like different colors but about the same size that would look really good together and kind of stay in that like kind of tan and white colors that we have going on this DIY. And then it's just a matter of hot gluing them down. I like to just kind of go around the top edges of the shells. That should be enough hot glue to keep them attached. And I love how this turned out. It can go great with like nautical decor, but also it looks really cute with beach decor. I actually had this hanging like in my kitchen for a very long time. I really love this DIY. I think it's really pretty. The final touch after I get all the seashells attached is a bow. I'm going to use some of this mesh ribbon from the Dollar Tree. I think it kind of looks like fishing net, so that is the look I'm going for this. And what I'm going to do is just simply make a bow, make another bow so it's like doubled up, and then I'm going to cinch everything in the middle with just a zip tie. You don't have to do any twisting or anything. There's no right side to this ribbon. And once I get it zip tied to the handle, I can just arrange it, puff out the bow a little bit. And it's the perfect little embellishment for this DIY. I'm going to tie it off with a little bit of twine so that you can't see the zip tie, but that's just me being extra. So I just tie that off a couple times just to kind of disguise that. And you could always use twine to tie it on instead of a zip tie as well. And this is how it turned out. This is how it looks in my home. I think it is super cute. What do you guys think about this Dollar Tree DIY? Now for the next DIY, we're going to try some decoupage on a sand dollar. I picked up a Shore Living sand dollar. These come in the 3-pack at Dollar Tree, and one of the metal stands. For the napkin and the decoupage, I'm actually using a Shore Living napkin. I love this print. I think it's really pretty with the blue like seashells and starfish all over it. And I really like the repeating pattern, but you could use whatever beautiful napkin you could find. You're going to want to separate it though into one single layer if you're going to be decoupaging with a napkin. So I have it down to just one layer, and I want to attach it to the front of the sand dollar just like that. Now these aren't real sand dollars. They're made out of some kind of a plastic resin material, but you could always do it with real ones as well, but they're going to be a lot more fragile for sure. So I just put a very thin coat of Mod Podge all over, and then just carefully place it on there, laying it down, smoothing it out, making sure my hands were super dry before I smoothed it out because I don't want to tear the napkin or anything like that. So I just put it on without cutting it or anything, just smoothing it out, gluing it to the front of the sand dollar. I speed up the drying process just with my heat gun. And then I can go in and cut the napkin to the size of the sand dollar. That's going to help because I didn't have to line it up, get it even, worry about any of the edges poking out. I can just cut it right down to size. So that's what we have so far. We will have to cut out like the little slots and stuff on there. And if you use a sanding sponge, you can get a really good close cut all the way around to get that beautiful like irregular shape that a sand dollar has without tearing any of the paper. I do want to gild the edges to make this look really nice. Then I just go in with a little bit of Mod Podge inside the little openings and also sealing on top of the napkin with a coat of Mod Podge. Then, since I got it wet right here in the slots, I can actually poke holes in the napkin with just my paintbrush. So that's what I'm doing. I had saturated them from both sides, the slots, and I just poke it open. You can like cut the napkin inside the slots, or you can make sure that it is at least glued down inside the slots so that it looks nice. So I'm making sure all the excess paper is removed, and I actually waited until it was dry, and I'm going to go over and seal it one more time to make sure that it's sealed and it's not going anywhere. You can also use like the back of your paintbrush to make sure that all the little torn pieces of the paper are glued to the sides of the slots. It's going to make it look better. Then I want to gild it with some gold. You could use like a gold paint pen for this. I only had some gold acrylic paint, and so I'm just going to use a small brush and just go along the edges, giving it that metallic gleam. This really made it look finished, and I'm so glad I added this extra touch. The gold like gilded edges really make it special. And then I'm also going to do it on the inner slots too with all the openings. There's like 5 open slots on this sand dollar. And again, just carefully taking my tiny paintbrush and that gold metallic acrylic paint, I'm just quickly going around just the edges. And it really makes them stand out and look like artwork. Now for this stand, I'm going to be using one of these metal stands. Now this one was kind of a little bit coming off already. Sometimes they're really attached and you can't get them off. So sometimes I look for ones that are like this that are easy to take off, because now I already have a metal stand with a wood base. I just went ahead and painted it white in case you can see any of the pole in the final project. And then I want to use that to display my decoupage sand dollar. I kind of like it with like the slot pointed down like that. And so that is what I'm going to use. And then I kind of realized I should just gild the entire back of the sand dollar just to make it look more uniform, so you don't really have like that line of gold from going around the edges. Once that's dry, I attach it to the metal pole right here in the center. And I actually just used hot glue. I don't often use hot glue with metal, but it actually worked really well for this. These sand dollars are not very heavy. And this made just the perfect display for the sand dollar. I really love how this one turned out. Let me show you how it looks. Isn't that so beautiful? I love it, and I think this would look pretty with so many different styles of napkins. Just use your imagination. And you could do this with like a large seashell as well, especially like the inside of a seashell. You could do a napkin, decoupage it on, and then just find a pretty way to display it kind of like this. Okay, for the next DIY, I'm going to use one of these little like honeybeam gnome pictures. I think they're so cute because the frame is adorable. I picked up several of these at Dollar Tree because I thought that these would make perfect coastal frames. And I was very pleased to find that you could just pop the back off of these and have a beautiful coastal frame. So easy to take apart. So if you see these, be sure to pick them up. It's even got like the great back there for the sign that we can use to make our artwork. I found these cute little chipboard sea turtles at Dollar Tree that are already green, and I thought these would be so cute. We could do like some little sea turtles like hatching out on the beach and heading down into the ocean. So just kind of lining up where I think they'll be going, and then kind of just using an ink pen to kind of have some reference where I want the water and where I want it to look like sand. This is the color that we're using for the sand. It's like a cashew color, and it's the closest paint that I probably had to sand. This is like a chalk paint. It doesn't have to be. And you know what? You could even use glue and Dollar Tree sand if you wanted. But I'm just doing like a curvy beach scene there, and most of the sign is going to be covered in that sand color. I do a couple of coats, even though it was chalk paint, to cover that brown material for the back of the sign, but it provided to be a great canvas for this cute artwork. For the water, I'm going to use a couple different colors. I'm going to mix like Caribbean blue with a little ivory to lighten it. It gives you this beautiful beachy color of blue. And I'm just going to freehand that up here in the corner, doing like a beach curve or ocean coming together with the beach is so easy to do. Just a little bit of a curvy line. And then for the seafoam, I'm just using a Dollar Tree chunky brush, and I'm just distressing with ivory, kind of giving me that seafoam look that you would see where the water meets the beach. And then I just kind of distress everything. I distress the sand to give it a little variety in color, the water to make it look a little bit like whitecaps. Super abstract. Doing a beach scene is definitely one of the easiest things that you can do. And then you can kind of blend it in if you want to with just a baby white, kind of blending it all together. And I just wanted just a very subtle beach scene to go in that with the sea turtles on it. You can have them like climbing across the beach just like that. I was trying to decide if I liked the green color that they were painted, or if I wanted to paint them myself to kind of get away from that glossy texture. And I have some green acrylic, so you know what? I'm going to go ahead and paint them to try to make all of the paint finishes the same. Just because I can. And you know what? I might as well use a little Antique Wax by Waverly too. And I can kind of distress them a little bit too. Like sea turtles are like greenish and brown, just to make them look a little bit better. They also have these little chipboard sea turtles in like the brown chipboard. You can also use the little wooden sea turtles that they have with the Shore Living line as well. I thought these were cute though, with the cutouts there for the shell. Doesn't give you a lot of room to hot glue. I'm just using my fine tip hot glue gun, so I don't use too much glue. I don't want glue like seeping up in between all the openings on the turtle. And we are going to kind of just lay them like that. If you've been following my social media or my community page, you'll know that we just went and saw a sea turtle lay its eggs the other night. It was so amazing. And I do have pictures. It was a sanctioned event where we have to go follow all these rules. It's like a turtle walk kind of thing. And it was amazing. We had so much fun. I love going to see that. I just reattach the back of it into the frame by attaching it with hot glue. There were like some little tiny nails in there used to tack it on. So I also used my hammer to kind of push those in to make it secure. And look how cute that turned out. The frame is amazing. It looks so coastal. I didn't have to do anything to it. And the little beach scene with the sea turtles really could not be any easier. I know a lot of you out there are big sea turtle fans as well. So I thought you'd enjoy seeing this beach DIY. I have made a lot of sea turtle stuff. You can tell they're definitely one of my favorites here at Crafty Beach. Now for the next DIY, I wanted to make a large sign. I'm going to use one of these little color-grown palm trees from the summer section at Dollar Tree and two of their long board signs. I wanted to use two of these long signs together to kind of make like a pallet board sign by pairing the two of them together like that. You can do it pretty easily with just some popsicle sticks. I was trying to decide if I think I want the holes like on opposite ends to make them look like long boards. And I'm going to do a couple of different blue colors. I did this one in like a Caribbean blue. And they are a little bowed, as Dollar Tree signs like to be, but once we frame this all up, we can make it a lot flatter and straighter once we frame it. But for now, we're just painting the boards. This one, I'm using a turquoise color. It's very close to the Caribbean blue, but it's got like a little bit more of a greener color to it. And I think they look really well together with just a slight difference in color. It's almost kind of like an ombre if you kept it going, changing the color slightly. And then I'm just going to go ahead and flip them over so that we can attach them into a board sign. So I'm going to build it just kind of like a pallet sign, but with just popsicle sticks, the thin wood signs from the Dollar Tree, and hot glue. So I start at the ends. That seems to be like the area where they kind of want to bow the most. And as I'm hot gluing those on there, I can kind of straighten those out. And each one of the popsicle sticks actually does a really good job of leveling it out a bit, making it like a board sign. But it did take a little bit of arranging as well. And then I was like, you know what? I think I probably need even more because the bowing on these signs, I don't know if it's a Florida thing or they do this at all. I think it's just from being in my house, honestly. The boards definitely like to warp. So can't really have too many of those popsicle sticks on the back. And that definitely fixed all my bowing issue and gave me a really nice pallet board sign. Now for the palm tree, I just want the wood palm tree. I think it's really cute. And I think it's going to be a fun detail to add to this sign. Now it's got like a writing on one side and it's kind of got like an outline on the other side of the palm tree. The first thing I do is just distress both of the board signs with some ivory, and I just kind of use a baby wipe to go back and kind of blend that in. And then I'm going to use that same ivory color for the palm tree. I decided to paint the back since it didn't have the outline on it. So really the only thing I have to cover up is that black writing that they do on these. I hate that they do that. And I just wanted a plain ivory colored palm tree. And I'm going to combine that with some white vinyl and do a really cute coastal sign for your home. I just go in and measure my boards, and I believe I do have the SVG file saved for this, and I will share it with you in the description next to this video. I'm going to cut out a fun saying, one of my favorite sayings. It's going to say palm trees and 80 degrees, which is one of my favorite things. I love both of them, and I think it'll look really cute with that little palm tree. So I did it kind of in a cursive font. Pretty fun, just weeding out all of the center parts of the letters. And then I'm going to use my favorite transfer paper. I use this paper transfer paper. I get this on Amazon. I have it linked in my shop below. I really love this stuff. It works so good, even on freshly painted pieces like we're doing today. And we're just going to add the vinyl for the words. Couldn't be any easier. I'm just going to go ahead and attach the 80 degrees right down here, kind of lining it up with the right, because we want to put the palm tree to the left. And it works so good that you can even reuse this stuff. It's still got enough stickiness on it. And I just peel off the back of my vinyl like that, and we can do the top word. So easy for a custom sign. You can make it say whatever you want. But I really like this saying to go along with the palm tree. It's one of my favorite things. You know, we've lived in Florida for 9-10 years now, and it took me a long time to get used to seeing palm trees everywhere, but I really am used to palm trees everywhere, but I still love them. So I attach the palm tree with hot glue as well, and then I just like slightly distress that with like a little bit more of the ivory, just to give it more of a bright white feel against that blue sign. Then to kind of make it look a little bit more hand painted, I go back with my original like blue colors and I just distress the vinyl slightly to kind of give it like a hand painted look. And I can also go in and use that blue to slightly distress that palm tree as well. It's going to make everything look very coastal farmhouse and go together. And it's just a fun little trick to actually use vinyl on your signs like that, but make it look hand painted. I do want to hang this and I don't really have a way to attach a hanger to it at this point. So I'm just going to drill some holes in it so that I can make an easy hanger. Since I'm making this horizontal sign, the holes before on it were to hang it vertically. So I just use my drill and drill 2 holes in the top of it where I can then make a simple little hanger. And I love how this turned out. The 2 colors look so great together. It was so easy to do and it just looks so coastal and fun. This would look great for summer or for coastal decor. I have my entire house coastal like year round, no surprise here. And I just use some twine and feed it in from the back and knot it on the front, and we have a fun little custom beach sign using supplies from the Dollar Tree. I think it turned out really cute. Here is the final result. And you can see how that like slight blue distressing there on the white vinyl does really give it that feel. I've also been trying to use more of a matte vinyl on my signs. I find that looks a little bit more hand painted too than the glossy vinyl. Now, the next DIY is quick and simple. I picked up a Dollar Tree sign, and I have one of these glass stickers from the Shore Living line. It says it's a shore thing. Super cute and easy way to do a quick sign. This would be great for like a tier tray or a shelf sitter or something like that. These are the little burlap, chunky wood signs with a sign on top. I really just wanted to remove the paper that was already on there so that I can kind of replace it with my own thing. I'm using some of the removable wallpaper in like the board pattern. Have you seen all of the new wallpapers they have at Dollar Tree? They have so many pretty ones. The new board one they have is like a light wood. And I picked up a ton of them because they are great for DIYs like this. It just gives you like a plain neutral background. It's a peel and stick wallpaper, so it couldn't be any easier. And this is much easier than replacing the sign or trying to get all that paper off. And painting it, I can just use some removable wallpaper. And I have like a whitish background for the glass sticker. I like to use the glass stickers on just about anything. They're so fun to DIY with. And I do distress the paper a little bit with a little bit of ivory just to make it look a little bit more authentic and a little bit less like paper. And I did not see any of these glass stickers this year. Every year they have these different glass stickers for the Shore Living line, and I don't know if I missed them this year or they sold out before. I don't know. I did not see them at all, but I hope they didn't discontinue them because they are so cute and they are so easy to use for a quick, easy Dollar Tree DIY like this. So I just went ahead and attached it to the front. It's just about the right size. I had it a little bit longer on one side, but it was easy enough to trim off the excess vinyl. And then you can also distress it too, like we distressed the wallpaper. And just give it that coastal feel by slightly distressing the writing, the design on that. And it's just such an easy way to make a sign. You don't just have to use them on glass. You can definitely use them on anything. And then once it dried, I went over mine with a little bit of Mod Podge just to help seal it on. Make sure that the glass sticker stays on. But you know, they're pretty sticky. That part is probably optional. But this is how it turned out. It was so easy. And you could always put a little bit of burlap on any kind of a chunky wood sign to get a fun coastal background like that. I went ahead and used that sign because it already had the burlap on there. So one less step to do. And it really turned out so simple and cute. Now for the next DIY, I picked up one of the long board signs from the Dollar Tree. It doesn't matter which one it is, but I did choose a blue one. And then I have 3 of these Shore Living wood slat fish. They're so cute. I thought we could do a fun display where we stand them all up and put like wood dowels in them, having the fish like floating like they're swimming. So I used a drill bit and I carefully drilled holes here, like right in the bottom of the fish, right about the same spot on each one, so that I could do that. We're going to decorate these and make these look so cool. Now, Dollar Tree Shore Living Line has came out with a couple of different varieties of the wooden fish. This one is my favorite. They have these like slatted wood ones in different colors. These are just like the wood look ones, but we're actually going to decorate these. So I taped off the nose, or I guess the head part of the fish, so that no paint goes there. And then we're just going to start painting these little guys. The first one, I'm using this bright Caribbean blue color for this body part of the fish. They do have like little ropes tied around their tails already. For the top part here, I'm using more of, I think this is cotton blue, if I'm not mistaken. Another shade of light blue. And then I'm going to mix a couple colors together to give one more shade of blue. I wanted them to have like kind of an ombre effect. So just 3 similar colors of blue was what I was going for with this, because I didn't want them to be all matchy. But I want to make it kind of unique, and I also want to make them textured. So once I get them painted and dry, I'm using my glue gun to do fish scales. So I'm just doing a simple fish scale all the way down. For the next row, I just start about halfway in between the one before it and just attach them together. And I keep doing that to give me that great scale texture on all of the fish that I can paint in distress and really make these things look cool. Now I'm going to do the same like fish scale thing here on all of them. I am using my smaller glue gun. This is like my Surebonder from Walmart. And then I follow that up with my heat gun to like get rid of any of the strings of hot glue. And that one looks pretty good. We're going to leave the head of that one, just the regular wood. And then we're going to go ahead and fish scale this one as well. This is going to make a really long piece. I actually have this displayed on my coffee bar right now. I have it kind of a beach theme. And it like takes up almost the whole shelf. So it's kind of a big display, but I absolutely love how this turned out. So third fish, I just do fish scales all the way down. They don't have to be perfect, but once you get the hang of it, you kind of get the hang of it. With the hot glue gun, again, burning off any of the strings. And I think that looks pretty good. I am going to go ahead and retape that because I do want to distress those scales to bring them out a little bit. To do that, I use some ivory paint and just a makeup sponge. And all I'm doing is dragging that over, just trying to catch the hot glue portions of the scales so that they are distressed and slightly lighter color than the color underneath. And that's one reason why I also did them after I painted the fish, because I don't want the scales to be like the same color as the fish. And this makes them look so distressed and fun. I absolutely love this technique. I've done those scales like on mermaids and stuff as well, on their tails, and it always turns out so cute. Now we can remove the painter's tape there to reveal what our fish look like. They're looking pretty cute. I thought if I used some of the larger twine from Walmart, it's pretty close to the twine that was already on there for their tails. And then I can do that for the border between the head and the body that we decorated as well, to kind of go with the theme a little bit. I think that looks good. And we're just going to leave the rope that was already on their tail that goes well with the design. I just use my staple gun and I just glue that in place for each one of the fish. And I'm thinking they look really cute. I'm going to do a few things to decorate the base of this as well. And we'll have all of these fish standing up and swimming kind of like in a school of fish. Now I was trying to decide if I should leave these like natural wood. I decided to slightly stain them just using a baby wipe and a little antique wax by Waverly to give them kind of a similar stain to the fish themselves so they won't stand out too badly with the raw wood. And then this is actually like a Day of the Dead sign. I like to pick these up, have them on hand. They work great for so many different DIYs. And I'm going to cover this with burlap. I had just a scrap piece of burlap that was nice and long that I think is going to do the job really well just to cover this. And since this is like a heavy duty wood, I can use my staple gun on this, no problem. And I am just stapling all of the burlap in place, just enough to like wrap it around almost in a burlap sleeve. And it's a great way to use these signs after you use them for, whatever season you may have purchased them for. Now the burlap does like to fray, so I am going to have to touch up just the ends here where it was a little loose. And then we do need to drill holes to attach all the fish. So to get started, I just glue my first dowel into my fish. We've already pre-drilled the holes on those, and I want that glue to kind of set up in there and harden while we prepare the rest of the sign. I'm going to do that here with the other two, kind of gluing the dowels in place. These are just Dollar Tree dowels. And with that drill bit, I chose just the right size opening for those to glue those in place. And then I want them swimming like at different heights here on my burlap board. So I am going to kind of measure these, try to see where the center is so that I can have the middle fish centered for sure. And then I'm just going to drill through that board sign, through the burlap and all, as far down as I can so that this will be stable. Add a little hot glue in there and just stick the dowel right down inside. These long board signs like this from the Dollar Tree are made out of like a heavier like MDF wood. So I think it's going to be sturdy enough for the base of this project. Now for the other two, I want them swimming like underneath. So it's going to kind of look like a school. That one is going to be the tallest one. So I'm going to need to shorten these just a little bit. And I'm just using my miter scissors to do that. Works really good to cut things like dowels. And I'm just kind of measuring to see where it's going to go, if it's going to fit. And I also need to shorten this one as well. I'm going to shorten that one even more so they're all kind of swimming at different heights. I thought that would add a little bit of interest and variety to this project. And I just kind of map out exactly where I want the next one to be and just drill another hole there. I had to use like a rather large drill bit to make it large enough for this dowel. Add some hot glue in there, gluing that fish in. It's barely off the ground. It's elevated just a little bit, but it fits nicely, tucks nicely underneath the tail there on the first one without touching. And then I kind of see where I want my third and final fish to be. And we're just going to drill an opening there for that dowel as well. Hot glue just to make it a little bit stronger, and we're going to put this one in place as well, and it fits in there just perfectly. I want to make sure they're all kind of flat, everything is square, and everything is glued into place. And look how cute this turned out. So if you can find some wooden fish, this is such a fun DIY for you. Hopefully Dollar Tree will get these in again because I haven't seen them for a while. I know I still have some left over from last year. Hopefully you do too. But I think they turned out so cute. What do you guys think about this DIY? Now, the next Dollar Tree beach DIY is super easy. We're going to be using another one of the Shore Living glass stickers, the beautiful seahorse design, and a Dollar Tree glass frame. I like these frames because they have the glass in there. They're kind of suspended, so they work really well for like glass stickers like this. And sometimes, if you're lucky, you can get that painting off pretty easily on the glass. I want mine to be a standing sign, so I'm going to go ahead and remove the hanger on the back of it because I'm not going to need it. And then I'm going to use some fingernail polish remover. And look how easily the paint came off on this one. It's not always that easy, but this one, it came off really easy. There was a lot of paint, so I'm just trying to get that all off of there without getting any of it on the frame, just to give me a blank canvas. The color of the frame is perfect, especially since the seahorse sticker we're going to be using is blue as well. And just making sure my glass is super clean. And since it's a glass sticker, basically that's all you have to do is peel it and stick it. This is one of my favorite ones that I have found at Dollar Tree. It's just such beautiful colors on there. And it's kind of similar to the seahorse on the glass panels that they had this year in the Shore Living line. Just kind of DIYing my own. It also had some like coral and fish and bubbles, so I might as well use them on the glass as well. There's even a little starfish. I just attached them all to the glass. It works as a standing sign, so you can use it freestanding alone, and you really can't get much easier than that. I did decide to add a few seashells to mine just to give it a little bit more texture. These are just some little tiny seashells from the Dollar Tree, and I thought I could gather like some different ones down here on the ledge. Just going to give it kind of more of a 3D vibe. And I just attached those to the glass with hot glue. And I think that was the perfect final touch for this DIY. Again, just using some of the Shore Living glass stickers. This one is definitely a beautiful one with that seahorse design. I have way too many stickers, but one thing that I do use relatively often with crafting are the glass stickers, just because they are so versatile and so easy to use. But I think this one just turned out so cute. Okay, and then next DIY, we're going to be making a fish lantern. So I have 4 more of those wood fish from the Shore Living line at Dollar Tree. And they do have the rope tied around them like this. I'm going to go ahead and remove them. I am going to have them wrapped with rope there, but I want them all to be wrapped with rope, not just individually. So I'm just carefully pulling out the staples on the side. I don't want to damage the fish at all if I can help it. And just trying to repair any damage that I might have done on those. I was trying to decide if I should leave them like this or if I should stain them. Now, I hadn't tried staining these before. I've painted them, but I hadn't stained them. So I watered down some antique wax by Waverly and put that over the wood surface, trying to let that soak in just to make the wood slightly darker. And I guess that it did work a little bit, but they must be sealed pretty well because, and the fact that they're probably, just MDF, not real wood, they didn't stain as well as I would like. So as you can see, I'm putting it on there, just kind of like letting it kind of soak in if I can, and also going around the edges for anything that may have dripped around the sides, just to kind of clean that up as well. But I wanted to give it more of a medium wood color because the base sign that we're going to use is also like a medium wood color. So I do have to remove the little labels here from the back of the fish. They're on there pretty good, but nothing that a heat gun won't fix. We're just going to clean those up a little bit, and then I'm going to show you how I put these all together to make a fun candlestick. And I don't really like how blotchy it is, the stain kind of coming around the sides like that. So I stained the back of them too, even though it was like an MDF, because you're going to be able to see into the candle holder, and I want it to look good on the inside as well as the outside. You could also use this DIY to kind of make a sleeve for a vase. That would be really cute as well. You can see that that side of the stain, or that side took the stain a lot better than the other did, but that's okay. I still think they look good. And then I just have to kind of figure out how I'm going to construct this. And I decided to use nails. I thought that would be a little bit stronger than using hot glue. And so I'm going to do it right here, forming a corner, trying to make sure my nail stays straight and goes where it's supposed to into the next board. You also kind of overlap the tails like that. I'm going to go ahead and put the other side in, lining up the tails as well. So this side of the lantern will be a little bit skinnier than the other side just because of how I have to construct it. So make sure whatever you're putting inside, candle or whatever, I'm going to use a battery operated candle to make it safe, is going to fit in there before you put yours together. And finally, I put the fourth and final fish on there. I want them all going the same direction like this. And just using some small nails that I got there from Dollar Tree, just making sure that I get them driven into the wood straight. And so nothing is kind of shooting out any of the sides where it shouldn't be. But that was a really secure way to attach these together. So this is what it looks like at this point. I wanted a base for it as well, and this is the sign we're going to use. It's one of those little chunky wood slat signs from the Dollar Tree, which is a very similar color of wood. I think it's going to blend in well to the stain. And then I want to use a Dollar Tree like battery operated candle to go inside. So I was trying to decide if I wanted it tails up or tails down for this candle holder. Honestly, you could probably get away with doing it either way. I'm going to try doing it head down like this by hot gluing those fish to that base sign there at the bottom. And then I kind of go in and do the glue the other heads down as well. They kind of swing on those nails that are holding them in place, so you can kind of move them out of the way and put the glue right where you want them. And then I told you I wanted to tie the tails off, but I wanted them to all be tied off together. This is how we're going to do it. I just take some Dollar Tree twine and knot it off and then just simply wrap it around to give that same like wrapped fishtail feeling. And just kind of tying that off there on itself. Pretty easy. We kind of have a fish candle holder or maybe even like a fish-shaped lantern. I thought this was a really creative way to use these Dollar Tree wood fish for a fun DIY. I do go in and kind of burn off the fuzzies there on the twine, making it look its best. And then the Dollar Tree battery operated candle that I got for it is just this thin, long, tall candle. I think that's going to work well in there because the opening is not real big and it is kind of a taller light fixture. So just going to remove the packaging on that, make sure this candle works, and put it right here inside. And I think that looks really cute. I was trying to decide if it needed any more touches, and I thought that I could give it one more. I'm going to use some of the brown rope from the Dollar Tree and actually line that base sign down here. And it's kind of going to go with that twine that we have wrapped around the fishtail. Just kind of framing this out a little bit to make it look a little bit less unfinished by gluing that rope all the way around. And the fact that it's like a rectangular shape, that board sign, actually works well for the rectangular shape of the lantern. So again, we're going to pop the candle right here in the top, and it is complete. I think my stain did take a little bit on these. I mean, they are a little bit darker wood than they started. But you might want to use some paint on yours if you want yours to be a different color, because they didn't stain exceptionally well. But I think it's kind of a clever design. Super cute. Again, you could kind of use this for a flower arrangement as well. You could put some greenery in here. Maybe even like slide a vase down inside. That would work as well. But it's definitely going to go with like any kind of coastal decor that you have in your home for summer or year round if you're like me. Isn't that so cute? And it looks really cute lit up well at night too. And have you guys checked out my new website yet? It is craftybeach.net. It is going to be your one-stop shop for all of my DIYs. So whenever I do a YouTube video, I'm going to be going to my website at craftybeach.net, doing a corresponding blog post. So if you go on the main page, it's going to show you the most recent DIYs that I've added to it. If you find a post that you're interested in of some DIYs, you can just click on that blog post. It's going to pull up all of the photos for all of the DIYs that we made in that project that you can pin on Pinterest so you can remember to go back and make that DIY, because sometimes you get these great ideas and you just forget. And you can also scroll down, find the DIY video that goes with it. And I'm going to have everything kind of organized by season. I just started it this spring, so I have 4th of July, coastal, Easter, spring, and tier trays on here right now. I even have links to my Amazon shop for items that I recommend in my crafting videos. So that is super convenient. And I also have a link to my Etsy shop for all of my fun printables that you guys love. So be sure to check it out. It's craftybeach.net. I'm really excited about this new website. Okay, you've made it all the way to the final reveal for all 15 of the Dollar Tree beach DIYs today. Hopefully you got lots of fun crafting inspiration and you had a good time watching these DIY videos. Be sure to comment your favorite DIY in the comments below. Your comments always help my videos do better here on YouTube, and I love reading all of your fun comments down below. So, enjoy the final reveal.
Look ahead, the sea is calm, and I know we've been through a lot, but just wait. Wait for better days to come and carry us like wind in our sails. Hold on tight, I can smell the shore, it's right in front of us if we just hold on tight. This vision that I saw is getting closer every dawn. We are dreamers of the shore. Now on this boat, and we all know where we belong. Just wait. Wait for our home to show on the horizon. Soon we'll be there. Hold on tight, I can smell the shore, it's right in front of us if we just hold on tight. This vision that I saw is getting closer every dawn. We are dreamers of the shore. When we can't read the sky, we just sail with the wind that we've got. And when we're drowning in doubt, just keep on believing. We are dreamers of the shore. thoughts are too big. Can I get some comfort, please? I guess I should have been honest. It breaks in my heart. It's raining down, baby. I'm like a river that's overflowed. The sooner you know it, the less do we hurt. Let me speak the truth. I know you don't want to face it. You think it's too late, but I can see past the rain. Won't you lay it on me? Turn the page and burn it. Let's make up a big bonfire on the beach with the stars as our lighters, and throw our problems in the flame. Throw our problems in the flame. We fell down to the bottom, so bottom up please. We're gonna get over this. I see the smoke in the mirrors. I'm holding the key, one step away from salvation. You're like the ocean, setting me free. Out in the open, I'm picking up speed. No bad thoughts penetrate. Hold me like this is the first time. Our destiny calls, not leaving this incomplete. Won't you lay it on me? Turn the page and burn it. Let's make up a big bonfire.
Thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of today's video. And I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to all of my Crafty Beach Fun members for supporting my channel here on YouTube. Thank you to Karen O'Haron, Melinda Elizabeth, Jamie Job, Susan Edmonds, Tracy Knight, Nancy Wunner, Janae Farrington, Julie Miller, Pamelia Wren, Maria Grace, Donna Schreiner, Sandy C., Debbie DeLay, Ariana's Mama, Live Another Day, Tracy Wooldridge, and Marin Christensen. Thank you so much for supporting my channel. If you would like to become a member, you can hit join underneath today's video. It's $4.99 a month. You can cancel anytime, and what you're going to get is early ad-free access to my videos here on YouTube. It's easy to join, and if you would like more beach DIYs, I've got you covered. Check out this video right here. And until next time, from the Keys on vacation, happy crafting, everyone.